Welcome to the latest Motley Fool scoreboard. I'm Anand Chakavalu, and we've got longtime fools Toby Bordelon and Rick Monares giving a 1 to 10 rating to Mexican grocer BBB Foods, ticker symbol TBBB. First, we'll rate the strength of BBB Foods business, including factors like industry and competition. A 10 is invincible, a 1 is hopeless. Toby's at an 8. Rick, you've got a 6.
Yeah, so BBB Foods operates Tiendas 3B, a fast-growing chain of small discount grocery stores in Mexico. BBB stands for Bueno, Bonito, y Barato, which is Spanish for good, attractive, and cheap. It has operated 2,889 stores at the end of March. This isn't the Costco of Mexico, as some are calling it. It's closer to the Aldi of Mexico, with even smaller stores, more like a convenience store footprint of 3,000 to 4,000 feet, and a passion for hard discount pricing. BBB has momentum, but supermarkets can be a low margin and cutthroat industry. The supermarket industry would get a score of 4 for me, but BBB's stellar growth is closer to an 8. I split the difference and went with a 6.
Yeah, and I went with the 8 here just because I'm really comparing them to their spot within the industry, and they look really, really good relative to the industry. It looks good. Looks pretty good to me here, right? They are the leading discount grocery chain in Mexico. Revenue growth of 30% last fiscal year, which frankly seems almost unreal for a grocery store, right? It almost makes me nervous. Like, is this too good to be true? Very rapid growth here. 484 new stores last year, aiming for 500 to 550 this year. There's a lot of competition here, and even in Mexico, you still have to compete with Walmart, which isn't easy. Margins are really low in this space, and not a lot of room for error here. But so far, so good.
Yeah, tough industry. For management, a 10 is Warren Buffett, a 1 is Homer Simpson. Toby's at a 7. Rick, you're at an 8.
Yeah, so founder CEO K. Anthony Hatom was an investment banker working in private equity when his fund invested in a Turkish hard discounter grocer, BIM. He found the business model inspiring. He just needed to find the right country to make it work so he can sort of copy it and make it somewhere else. Mexico came out on top of all his research. So in September 2004, he moved his family to Mexico City despite barely speaking Spanish. 6 months later, he opened the first Tiendas 3B. Some of the employees from that very first store are in leadership positions today. You don't go from 0 to almost 3,000 stores in 15 years without a skilled leader on top. Did I mention that he's a Stanford MBA with engineering degrees from Columbia and MIT?
Yeah, the CEO has a great pedigree, right? You know, this company is new to me, but certainly not to our founder and CEO, Anthony Hatum here. He's been around for 20 years, over 20 years, right? He owns almost 10% of the shares still. I think that shows a strong commitment to the success of the company. They may have had some internal control issues that an audit picked up a couple years ago, but it looks like that's being addressed. So let's put that aside. I love what he's doing with the business, and you really, really can't argue with the success that he and his team have had.
For financials, a 10 is a fortress, a 1 is yikes. Toby's at a 7. Rick, you're at an 8.
Yeah, so BBB Foods is beating the market since going public at $17.50 in early 2024. And it's easy to see why. Revenue is growing north of 30% for the 4th year in a row, and it accelerated. Revenue rose 35% in its latest quarter on the strength of strong expansion on top of a 13.5% increase in comps. Now, sometimes when you see these strong comps, it's basically that they have easy prior year comparable figures to inflate current performance. But that's not BBB. This year's hot start is stacked on top of a 13.3 increase in comps for all of 2024, and that's on top of a 17.6 surge in 2023. BBB Foods finally turned profitable last year, and analysts see the bottom line growing exponentially faster than the top line on widening margins from here.
Yeah, 7 for me here. Cash flow is very strong. Revenue growth is very good. Gross margin is down slightly from a year ago. Administrative costs are growing faster than revenue right now, so that's something to watch. It's not super concerning, though. Actual debt is quite low. They rely heavily on operating leases, so a lot of flexibility here. Healthy cash balance, plenty of cash flow to support this high rate of expansion. A lot to like.
Right. Lot to like. Toby, let's talk valuation and see if that holds up. How well will BBB Foods do over the next 5 years? And how safe is it? 10 is a sure thing. 1 is a lottery ticket.
I'm going 15% plus here. You know, I thought about this a lot. Is that too high? But look, I see no reason they can't keep growing at a high rate in the near term, at least. And that should translate into market-beating returns. For safety, though, 5. I think high growth comes with risk. Especially in an industry like this with the margins as tight as they are. And at some point, they're going to run up against more competition and a limit to that high growth. They're not there yet, but I do expect that to happen.
Yeah, and so I see 10 to 50% growth over the next 5 years annualized, and safety score of 4. I can't sugarcoat the valuation. BBB Foods trades at sales and profit multiples well ahead of U.S. grocers like Kroger or Albertsons. This doesn't mean like this is like the kind of company that you will be able to buy at a discount. You probably will never be able to buy BBB Foods at a discount. It's just not the brisk expansion here. The consistent surge in comps implies that customer loyalty is growing along with the shopper base itself. I went with a low safety score here because the competitive nature of the market and the risk investing in Mexico. However, its founder CEO uprooted his family and moved almost halfway around the world to pursue a vision that has turned out to be even better than he probably imagined 20 years earlier.
Time for everyone's favorite topic. Toby, is there a company in BBB food space that you like better?
Again, I don't know why, but my first reaction here is to go private and say Aldi. But hey, let's stay in the public realm for the benefit of our viewers. Let's go Walmart. It is really hard to beat Walmart when it comes to groceries. Is there anyone who does it better? It's hard for me to think of anyone.
Yeah, so I went with Costco. Like BBB, Costco is a discounter trading at a market premium. They're entirely different business models. However, they have loyal fan bases, and they're both very liberal with the return policies. You can return anything, no questions asked, over at BBB Foods. I've learned that I know people who have turned in, a box of oranges almost all eaten in, or a brisket half eaten. They'll take it. But both companies have strong private label businesses. More than half of BBB's sales are private label, and that gives them supplier and pricing flexibility. If BBB is too risky or too foreign for you, the slower growing Costco should fit the bill.
To answer Toby's rhetorical question, are there any grocers better than Walmart? Yes, there are tons of grocers better than Walmart. Hy-Vee, Mariano's, Respects, lots of them, Wegmans, but no one cheaper. Thanks to Toby and to Rick, they've given BBB Foods a solid overall score of 7.1 out of 10. Look out for a new scoreboard every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is something good, I promise. Till then, Fool on.
Well, it's Tiendas B. Tiendas is stores. Like it's a store 3B.
Tres, dos, uno. 3, 2, 1.